In today's story, I'll be exploring how data is being used to make real environmental improvements on the ground. Hello, it's James from the Global Portrait Project, where I'm painting 193 portraits of 193 people, each from a different country, with each portrait subject involved in their country in a positive environmental action. And today it's the turn of country number 60, Fiji. The subject for my portrait for Fiji is Litia Gaunavou, who uses global information systems to gather and analyse data and then inform and direct many projects that benefit Fiji and surrounding island nations in the Pacific Ocean. Fiji is an island country in Melanesia, part of Oceania, in the South Pacific Ocean. Fiji consists of an archipelago of more than 330 islands, of which about 110 are permanently inhabited, and more than 500 islets. About 87% of the total population live on the two major islands, Viti Levu and Vanuatu. The closest countries to Fiji begin with V, T and S. The main environmental issues facing Fiji are primarily driven by climate change, including rapid sea level rise, coastal erosion, and increased frequency of severe tropical cyclones. Finding Litia to paint was fairly straightforward. Crystal Ambrose, who I painted for the Bahamas, had explained to me when we met last year at the first Global Portrait Project exhibition how there was a lot of strength and unity amongst many island nations, both academically and in getting their voice heard on the international stage. Crystal indicated that she had many great contacts, and when I got round to Fiji, she didn't hesitate to put me in contact with Litia, who thankfully agreed to have her story told. Litia's environmental story started at a very young age. Growing up, she'd always been cautious of how rubbish was disposed and really disliked littering. Going through school and then into higher education, Litia studied marine science, having the goal, like many of us, to become a marine biologist. Again, like many of us, that didn't quite work out, so Litia ventured into geographic information systems, which I'll refer to as GIS, and remote sensing after graduating. Remote sensing is the process of collecting data about the Earth from a distance, typically using satellites or aircraft to take pictures and measure surface features. GIS are computer-based tools that map, analyse and manage the data, turning raw imagery into actionable insights for decision-making. Litia's current title is Geospatial Technical Officer, and she has worked on several thematic areas. Litia worked on a project called Adaptation to Climate Change Through Food Security Measures. In this, she mapped out natural food sources such as breadfruit and pandanus for low-lying islands and was piloted in Tarawa, Kiribati. This was mapped together with the Agriculture and Environment Department in case supply of introduced food staples such as rice were interrupted due to extreme events that block out access to remote atolls in Kiribati. This would mean that the nation would rely on what is locally available, but not managed and not fully utilised. In the Marine and Coastal Resource Management Project, Litia detected coastal change using optical imagery together with GIS tools to map changes along the shores, and this information supported government marine conservation initiatives. Amongst all these and many other projects, one in particular goes closest to Litia's heart. This was establishing the Pacific Geospatial Women Network, PGWN, and its aim is to nurture women to establish their career in this field. Together, the network provides training to community-based women groups. Last year, the network conducted training for 2 women groups in Fiji, at Vatua village in Ba and Daku village in Te Levu. These 2 women groups are actively participating in the Jobs for Nature programme, whereby they replant mangroves. They have broadened that replanting project into other native crops that they use in their daily living. This exercise then extended into environment mapping, creating an output that aligned to their local needs, such as identifying potential rubbish disposal sites and flood-prone areas. This information could then be used when making proposals for grants to assist these communities. In Litia's words, "We didn't take the full GIS infrastructure as we would normally use for government-based training. Instead, we trained them on how to use everyday gadgets such as mobile phones and tablets to capture information of their replanting areas and subsistence farming efforts." If you'd like to find out more about Litia, I've posted some links below. Final words from Litia are: we live in a highly technological world where data is available even with the use of mobile phones and gadgets. Data, when combined with the knowledge using GIS and remote sensing tools, can create change, and this we all know. However, to really observe change on the ground, governments and organisations need to enhance the knowledge from the owners of the land and the ocean, the local communities. Using those datasets that the communities have collected is a step towards a resilient environment and future. There is more information about this painting and how to get involved with the Global Portrait Project on the website and Instagram page, and the links are in the description below. Next time, we'll be meeting an activist in Finland.